Well, hello, everyone out there. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome to the Managed Methods sneak peek, if you would, a little preview session. Although it's not really sneak peek because a lot of folks are already engaged with us on this topic today. So this is a Managed Methods customer only event. Membership has its privileges, and we greatly appreciate all of you. We love our customers. We have a fantastic I want to say almost fanatical, loyal customer base in the sense that I've never worked at a company before where we have so much fun and interactivity and just great conversations with our customers. And that's what we want to do today. So welcome. It is let's see here. Got 2 minutes after the hour, so we can go ahead and kind of get things underway. My name is David Waugh. I'm one of the original team members here at Managed Methods. Many of you I've interacted with because at the beginning, I was your first sales rep. I am now responsible for leading the sales and customer success and go-to-market teams here. And I'm joined with me today by one of our colleagues, Mr. Charles Mogan, aka Chuck, who all of you, I'm sure, have interacted with at some point in time as well, being a customer. And we may be joined later as well by another one of our product specialists, John Brigham. We'll get into that when he joins. So welcome. Thank you. This is our Managed Methods webinar to introduce the newest member of the Managed Methods family. Yes, our engineering team has recently given birth to a new bouncing product. Baby boy, baby girl, you guys can all decide. Classroom Manager, the little sibling or the sibling to Content Filter. And we're going to jump into that. So let's just do that. Couple quick housekeeping items. As always, if you've been involved in any of our webinars, yes, this is being recorded, and you will get a recording of this, and everyone that's registered. We had a lot of great customer interest. I see right now like 17, almost 18 of you have joined in, but we've had 4x that interest from our customer base in getting their hands on this new product. So it will be recorded and sent out to everyone that's involved. Any questions that you may have, because everyone is muted, please put them into the QA or chat panels, and we will do that. Hey, this is all family. You're all part of the family, so feel free to throw out any and all questions, and let's interact, and we'll get into it, okay? So what's going on? What is this all about? Well, we're introducing Classroom Manager, and why is that? Because as you all know, we're on a mission here at Managed Methods, and that mission has been to be focused solely on the K-12 market, to provide purpose-built technology solutions to help make online learning safer and more secure for our customers. And that is you as staff and faculty and technology leaders, the district leadership, but more importantly for the kiddos that we are entrusted with on a daily basis. And as all of you know, it's a labor of love for myself and many of us. My wife's a elementary education professional. I've got 2 children. One of them now is off in his first year in college. Yes, I know some of you knew him when he was still in elementary school. And my daughter's in 8th grade. And throughout all of it, up until my son got to college, he lived all day long on his Chromebook. And my daughter's on her little Lenovo covered with stickers Chromebook all day long. And they're in Google Workspace. They're in Microsoft 365. And I even see it now at my son's level, at the college level. They're in Office 365 and Canvas and all of these things all day long. And our education community deserves great technology and great service, and that's what we've been focused on here at Managed Methods. So what is it that you all know about us today? Well, one thing's for sure. All of you have known about us for our flagship product, Cloud Monitor, which has been there since day one. And that is what almost every one of you has started out on. Yes, I can see a couple of you on this call that there is an exception to the rule, that you joined us when we had Content Filter in the mix, and you own and license the Content Filter product. So what do we have today? Currently today in the market, we have our flagship product, Cloud Monitor, which is the K-12 industry's only purpose-built cloud access security, SaaS software security as a service product, Google Workspace, Microsoft 365, end-to-end security. This past year, we brought to market, within the last 12 months or so, we brought to market our Content Filter product, which is a SIPA compliant Chrome, Edge, extension-based, cloud-based solution to help you with your filtering world. Google integration, lightweight architecture, very scalable, some of the most advanced input detection in the market. We took all of the things we had learned in the world with our Cloud Monitor solution that brings you all the machine learning and advanced input detection with our data loss prevention and content scanning from Cloud Monitor. We packaged that into the filter world. So what do we have now with Cloud Monitor and Content Filter is we can take you from the mailbox all the way to the browser, back to the drive file, over to the classroom, to the third-party connected apps, show you account access, who's doing what. We can give you kind of a holistic view of what's happening in that entire arena. And no one else in the K-12 market with a purpose-built solution like this has it today. We're the only one that can take you all the way from the browser to the mailbox. Yes, there's a lot of vendors out there that offer a browser, a filter-based type of solution. Lots of great vendors out there that provide student safety and filtering, and we're excited to be out there in that market with them. But there's no one else that's down there in the weeds at the threat prevention, the account access level, the third-party apps, the DLP, except the tools that you can get from Google and Microsoft, and arguably that's a different ballgame altogether. So that's what we're here to talk about today. And now introducing our new addition to the family. We're so excited to have a new member, and that new member is Classroom Manager. We listened when we brought our filter product to market. We were on the fence, like, how soon do we got to get a classroom product? And all of our customers gave us good feedback, and that, hey, we'd really like to see you have a integrated classroom product. So introducing just that, Classroom Manager. It's an extension-based technology to allow teachers to have better visibility and control and interactive learning in the classroom. We're going to get into some of the feature and functionality. As you can see, a lot of the standard types of feature and functionality, but then there's some differentiators and some things, because we built this strictly based off of input from our customers. We went out to our customers and said, show us what you're using today. What do you like? What do you don't like? What do you wish you had? Let's get to those things. And we are excited to bring this product to market. So with that said, I'd like to introduce Classroom Manager, but more importantly, I'd like to introduce the person that's going to give you this guided tour, Mr. Charles Mogan. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'll let Charles lead the way. And of course, it's great to have another member of that team out there, Mr. John Brigham. Some of you may have interacted with John as well. He's been with us now for over a year. John, unfortunately, can't be on the call at this moment because he's on another call right now assisting a customer. So he may be poking his head in here momentarily. In the meantime, Charles, I'll hush up. I'll stop sharing so that you can share your screen. I'll do that right now. And then, Charles, if you want to, let's introduce the world now to Classroom Manager and talk about how it works together with Filter.
Absolutely.
And a reminder for our audience, any questions, comments you may have, put those into the chat or the Q&A session.
All right, excellent. So this will be the Classroom Manager interface here. It's built into the Content Filter interface. Right now, I'm kind of looking more at an admin view. If I was a teacher, I would just have this classes and scenes section here, and we'll get to that a little bit later. Over on the right-hand side, you'll see a couple buttons here. The very first one of those being this Add button, which allows you to generate a new class on an ad hoc basis. So in those situations where a student needs to get placed into a classroom for whatever reason, easy to go ahead and get that started. So we can see here, I could go ahead and grab a specific account in question here, add that to a classroom here on more of an ad hoc basis. Over to the further on the right-hand side, there's also a way to import classrooms. Right now, that's going to be via CSV upload. So that is also an option to pre-build some classrooms and have those added in here. Here down in the center, just some filtering options, some searching options. I could actually go ahead and clear out myself as a teacher here and go ahead and press search. And then as an admin, I'm able to see all the different classrooms that exist in here. And I've got some controls from those classrooms right here. I've got abilities to come in here and modify those classrooms, outright delete those, or even start the sessions for somebody as well too. I'm going to go ahead and grab one of my own classrooms here, this 5th period English class. I'm going to go ahead and start the session. Here
Charles,
I can
Charles, I want to interrupt real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you talk about the admin view, you're talking like as if this is, say, the tech department. They have an administrative like dashboard where they can see all of the classrooms, the teachers, and have that access from the IT department.
Correct. That's the idea behind this view. Okay. It kind of plays in both sections here. because the teacher's going to have a somewhat similar view, but they're only going to be locked in to be able to see the classrooms that they directly own.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Absolutely. So with the session as well too, I could rename that session. I can set a specific time for that session, and I can also choose who my users that are going to be in the session are. Once I go ahead and press that start session button here, I'll see those 2 users here, and then I have to go ahead and join the classroom. So in the upper right-hand corner of my browser, it might be a little bit difficult to see here, but there's this little green icon. Right now, that's how if they go ahead and click on that icon, that will go ahead and launch a participant view, which will have them go ahead and share their screen. This screen share is not just a screen share of the specific tab that they're looking at, or window, it's actually going all the way down to the desktop. So if I were to go ahead and minimize all these, it would go actually down to the desktop, or if I open something else in front of it, it'll go ahead and do that as well. I'm going to go ahead and actually grab both of these students here that I have for today. And my screen's going to look a little bit wonky because of the way my monitors are turned here, but no worries, we'll go ahead and get that one, but these both shared here. So we can see, oops, and I actually may have shared the same screen here twice. Let me go ahead and flip that over here, and let me actually go ahead for this one. Apologies there, just getting the correct screen share up here. Perfect. I think that is the right one there. Excellent. That should be the other one for this user. Perfect. There we go. So now you can see I've got 2 different students here pulled up. So these are ready to go. I can actually go ahead and click into this view. But before I do that, you'll see here, there's these buttons here across the top. So this all is going to go ahead and let you know that, hey, both of my students are in the classroom so far. If there was anyone who hadn't joined the classroom, I would have those users listed here as well too. When I actually go ahead and click into one of the views here, I'm going to go ahead and be presented with some information on what's going on. What do they have open here? So I can see they've got YouTube. It's their currently active tab in the in what they're looking at. Further down here, I can also go ahead and see they've got their email pulled up. And then further down, I can also see they've got Google Docs pulled up. If I wanted to, I could go ahead and actually block any of these on the fly. That would just block it for the duration of this session that I'm currently in here. It'll add it to what we call scenes. And we'll get to that in a little bit here, but that's a way you can go ahead and have things blocked. I could also make other things active. So for example, if I said, actually, I want this Google Doc to be active here, you'll see it'll actually change that out. And now instead of looking at YouTube here, I'm now looking at this Google Doc. I've went ahead and pushed the student over to that. All the way at the bottom here, there's also options to take a screenshot, or even come in here and close the active tab, or outright actually remove the user from the classroom. If there's a situation where you say, hey, for today, that student's not actually in session, or that student's not going to be in the class, you can actually go ahead and remove that user as well too. And it won't permanently remove them from the classroom. It'll just remove them from this particular session that we're in right now here. And that will apply to both these users here. You can also quickly take screenshots right from here as well. And then there's also some options here to go ahead and zoom in and zoom out on the individual screens as well. You can also change this from a more of a screen view here to a list view of what they're actually looking at that way. Over here on the teacher control panel on the right-hand side, very first button there, there's an end session option. This allows you to actually go ahead and end this session. So all the sessions in the classroom have a specific time limit. And once that time limit expires there, the students will be kicked out of the session. They'll be released back to normal content filtering. They're not going to be stuck in a classroom ever. Other thing too is if one student ends up in a new classroom for some reason, maybe they got pulled out of a session or something like that. What will happen is whatever the newest classroom is, that's what the student will get pushed into, and the old classroom they'll get kicked out of there. Here at summary, I can see who's actually connected. So I can see there's 2 participants, 2 people connected, no one's disconnected. I can see there's no subsessions, and then there's 4 unique sites. And our top site here is actually YouTube. So what the subsessions are is there's also an ability to go in here and actually add somebody, an individual user, to a specific subsession. And this allows you to then go ahead and pick and choose what students might be able to do. So maybe you have some students you need to keep an extra eye on, or they need to be more locked down. You could add them into a subsession and have specific scenes or things blocked in that subsession that most of the rest of the class is not going to have blocked there. And then below that is the scene. So there's always a session default scene here. And if I go ahead and click on this little edit pencil here, you'll see you've got some options right from here. So there's an allow option here. This actually allows you to, a teacher to override the block list there. So if there's a site that they need to access for whatever reason, they can put that site in here. They can allow it. That site would then be allowed through there. It'll override the content filter. So then they don't have to go back and say, hey, I needed to access this particular YouTube video for the class period for whatever reason. And normally it's blocked. This also works nicely as well too in a situation where they need to have only a select number of sites available. And there's an option, as you can see here, called block all, but then they could also go in and say, hey, I'm going to allow a few educational sites. These are the sites that I need my students to be on, but I don't want them accessing other things that they shouldn't be. Also options to block things. And as things are blocked here on the fly, those will be added to this session default here. Moving over from the allow and block, you're going to see a section here called policies, and there's something in here called focus mode. So what focus mode does is it really locks things down. So whatever allowed sites are turned on, that's going to be the only thing that the students are able to hit. If they try to go to other sites or things like that, it's going to automatically close those tabs for the user there. And then the scenes are also shareable between people as well too. Probably most people aren't going to be sharing the session default scene, but if I go ahead and click out of here and click the plus icon here, you see there's options for create new or add existing scenes. So if I go ahead and grab from the add existing, I can see the different scenes that I'm the specific owner of. But if I go ahead and remove myself here, I can also see the scenes that have been shared with me that I have access to as well. I'm going to go ahead and grab this English scene here as an example and add that to the scene here.
One of the features that was asked for by you, our customer audience, was in this example that Charles is talking about, with the ability to share scenes as well as an admin view from the IT department, is in the example of like testing season, when all classrooms and all the say everybody in the fourth grade is going to be testing. The ability for the IT department to simply roll out one scene that only allows access to the tabs that have the testing information, and then all the teachers simply have to do is activate those scenes, and that locks everything to that arena. So, there's a lot of different examples to what scenes are going to be used for, but that is one of the ones that quickly popped to mind based on actually a customer I see who's in this webinar today asking about that.
Absolutely. So if I go ahead and click the add to scene here and click out of that. Now, if you notice the screens here, they're suddenly going to change out. So notice right there, it's changed out. Now, suddenly both of these are looking identical, and they've been pushed to just these specific sites and nothing else. So if I actually go ahead and go over to this user over here, and I try to go ahead and hit YouTube, for example, it'll go ahead and close that out quite quickly there. So in that case, they're really not able to access anything out. I could also then say, hey, actually, I need you over on this specific one here. So it's going to go ahead and force them over to this specific tab so they can go ahead and take a look at it. So, or I could take them over to the Library of Congress if I wanted to. So that's the idea behind the scenes there, is being able to lock things down here, especially on the focus mode, make it so they're just able to access those selective sites and nothing else there. And then once the focus mode is over, or you finish what you're doing there, there's always an option to come in here and actually outright delete that that focus mode, that scene, and then you can release them back into that. You could go in and actually even modify that as well too. You can on the fly adjust things to as needed there. So you're not locked into that. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that focus mode for right now. And then you'll see that those tabs are still open here. It's not going to go ahead and close all those tabs once I release them from that scene, but then I do have the ability to go ahead and actually push out specific sites to them. So if I said, hey, I need everyone to go to google.com for whatever reason right now, I can go ahead and click submit on that. It's going to go ahead and open Google on both of the users here, and you'll see now I'm just looking at the Google search page. So way to quickly force those users to a specific tab there as needed. And then it's going to give a list here at the bottom of the different tabs that are open. It's going to give a number of those tabs that exist. So if a student has 15 different tabs of YouTube open or something like that, you would see that here. So for example, if I go over to one of these students here and I just go ahead and grab YouTube here, and then just go ahead and duplicate that a couple times here, we can see suddenly now YouTube is going to pop up here, and it's now at the very top here. So I could say, actually, I don't want that student to have that. So that would close all the tabs across everybody who has YouTube open. So if I said, actually, the other student has YouTube open as well too, a couple times here, we'll see that reflected in here. You can see that number changing. Now we're up to 6 YouTube tabs. I can see both students here on YouTube again here say, that's not something I want them to be doing here. So I could go ahead and say, actually, no, we're just going to go ahead and close those tabs right like that. You could also go ahead and block it, of course, as well too. That's always an option there. Lastly, here at the bottom, there's going to be a chat functionality. This is really more of an announcement functionality, but what this will do is this allows the teacher to communicate right now on a one-way chat to students. So they can push out announcements, they can push out things to those students. So I could go ahead and type a message in here. And it may be a little bit difficult to see with the way I'm sharing my screen here, but if I go ahead and do that, it'll go ahead and push this out to the little participant views here that both the students have here. So if I go back up to the top here, be able to see that here, where you can see now that hello class message has popped up here. So the students have received that message. So again, another way you could say, hey, we need everyone to be on a specific task or whatever the case may be here. So, but this will be the main functionality, the main features that the teacher would be interacting with day to day. But of course, once the session's over, I could come in here and end that session. That'll go ahead and release those users, put them back into normal filtering there. But before I do that, last thing here, I'll go ahead and show how the subsessions work. So let's go ahead and grab just this one student here. So now I have this child session here, and right now the student has everything that's all the same, but I might say, actually, this particular student needs to have a different scene than everybody else. They've been causing some issues in class, or there's a problem happening there. So I could come back into my scene library here again, and I could say, actually, we need to put them back into a specific scene, or I might go ahead and grab one of my colleague scenes here, which is going to go ahead and lock some things down here. So now that specific person was locked into there. It actually went ahead and closed everything. So now you can see my calendar. But we could go ahead and release them from that focus mode there. They would then be able to go ahead and go back into that scene and be able to be back to normal there and continue on with class there. So that's kind of the idea with the subsessions there. So you're allowed to add people to the subsessions, move them into there. Works quite well that way as well too. And then I could decide, okay, actually, we're going to go ahead and end this session here. So that would go ahead and then end that child session. So you notice it didn't end the entire session here; it just ended that child session. Now everyone's back into the same session together here. So that's kind of the idea with those child sessions. They allow you to pull out specific users as needed there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end this session for right now. We'll probably come back to that a little bit later. So once there's no active sessions here, I can go back to my class list here, and I could then start another session if I'm moving on with class period ended and I'm headed out to a different class here. But before I do that, we're going to go ahead and click over into scenes here. So this is the scenes library here. This is where scenes can be generated ahead of time. So that's the other nice thing too. You don't have to generate scenes right there in the classroom. Scenes can be created ahead of time and then just be added to those classes as needed there. Also, again, the scene library is available for both individual scenes that users have created as well as scenes that have been shared between colleagues as well too. So that's the other idea too, is that the scenes are shareable. So for example, this attention scene, if I go ahead and click on it here, we can see here that my colleague John here is the owner. And I just, in this case, I just have view access to the scene here. Or again, I'm looking a little bit more at administrative view again here. So we're crossing a little bit here. But if I went to my scene here and went over to access here, we can see a little bit more clearly here. I'm the owner of this particular scene, but my colleague John here has edit access. So if he needs to modify the scene slightly or change things, he's able to do that as well too. And you can change that permission on the fly as well too. You could say, hey, you just have view access where you're able to use the scene as normal, but you're not able to make any modifications or changes. Or I could even change the ownership over to him and say, hey, this is going to be your scene now, and go from there. So then what's tying all this together and in the background here is the filter itself. So that's all going to be, and that's going to be, you can start seeing that on the summary tab here. So we can see some different things that are happening in the environment here. We can see some top sites. We can see some top block sites here. There's options to go to specific URLs. You can do what we call an access lookup, which will give you an idea of who's been trying to hit those specific sites in question here. And then there's also some options to view that full URL here. Core of the filter here and what's going to kind of allow things through, going to block things on the back end, and then what will allow teachers to override things is going to be the policy section here. So we've got an allow list here that can be based on sites here. We can add in specific sites. We can also import from a global list or a file. We have a template here. So if you want to import specific files, you can also do that as well. Again, with the content filter here, it's an extension-based filter. So it's going to be pushed out to Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge. It does require users to be signed in, so it works great, especially on those Chromebooks, devices like that where students really don't have a whole lot of options. It'll be pushed out, it'll be active. It'll keep an eye on what users are getting into there on the browsing side of things there. You can also set things based on categories. Now, in this case, we probably wouldn't want to allow through the adult category site, but that'd be something where you can set those allow. We can draw from our categories of allow lists as well too. The categories are more primarily used for blocking though. And then there's also specific search terms, and everything here too is going to be set based on the OU structure. So for example, if there's the high school OU, maybe that needs to have some additional search terms open because they're working on some research projects or things like that. You can allow those specific search terms through, you can allow those categories, those sites through, but it could be still blocked for everybody else at the domain. So that can work quite effectively. And then here at the block list, we've got some different options here. You can go ahead and I'll go ahead and jump back up to the domain here since we actually do have a few things blocked here. So I could come in here and add a specific site. I could also resort to a block all option. Probably not something most people would need to do there, but there is an option available there. And again, there's options to import from that global list or from a file. And the global list is just the pre-existing categories here. All of these do support notifications as well too. So you're able to click into here, you're able to set notifications on things. Those notifications can go out immediately. They can go out on a more scheduled basis. It's kind of really your choice there. And you can also choose which days those notifications will be active and sending information there. And of course, who to as well via email address. There's also a top field here, so you can do this for all of the notifications on the block list. Of course, there are then also categorizations here as well. So you may have seen that we had a few different game sites that were blocked here. So if any of these sites were hit here, it would go ahead and block those. User wouldn't have any access to those sites there. And then there's also search terms here. So you can go ahead and add in specific search terms if you want to go ahead and block those as well. These can range from a number of different things, inappropriate language, things that might be just you don't want your students getting into, generally speaking. This will support both keywords and regex. Keywords is just going to be comma separated here, so you can add a lot of pre-built words there. Go ahead and get things locked down just a little bit further on those potential search terms. So when a student tries to search something, it's just going to go ahead and block it right away, and they don't even get a chance to look at the search results there. There is also a risk section as well too. So much like on Cloud Monitor, there are risk scans that are going to be looking for, in this case, the actual inputs. This is something where the content filter does a really great job of looking for things that might be cause for concern. So when somebody presses enter, they create, say, an email, and the email does the autosave functionality. A document's created. They put comments in a chat or comments in a Google Doc or something like that. Those are things that the input detection is going to go ahead and pick up on here. So we've got some different options here with self-harm and toxicity. Those are the two default ones, but those can be expanded out. Again, you can choose where you want to go ahead and place those as well too. And this will all work together as part of one thing here. So if a student, for example, was in a classroom and they were typing away on some document that had a concerning input or something like that, that would be seen here in the violations section, or and it'd be able to dive into it from the accounts level. And the teacher might say, hey, I thought I saw maybe a student on a document or something that was concerning. I saw them typing away and then they closed it quickly before we could take a look at it. So we would be able to see kind of potentially what those inputs were, if they did go ahead and press enter there, or they were on a specific site. I've seen this range from anything from things like Kahoot inputs to if a student for some reason signed into Instagram and we're sending direct messages to somebody. These inputs do a really nice job of picking up on things, and there's some adjustability to those as well. Again, ways to set those notifications and things too. Lastly, on the policy side of things, there'll be a YouTube section here, which allows you to add in some additional blocks on the YouTube side of things. So if there's specific keywords or things like that, these will be the tags in the video channels themselves. You'll be able to block those. We can do entire channels if you need to. Specific videos here, so we can see some different examples of some videos in this case. You can also throw in a video to have it be analyzed as well too. So if there's a specific YouTube video, so if I go ahead and grab a video here. So we can see here, I've got some basic information. I have, hey, there's farm animals. Here's the name of the channel. I can allow or block right from here as well too. And it'll also have all the different keywords I can allow and block. So I can do a block all or allow all. So really easy way if there's a specific video you want to take a closer look at, or there might be some concern around it, where you can easily go ahead and get that set up. And then there's options here to go ahead and block the sidebar, the live chat, and the comments as well too. So further locking down the YouTube side of things there. Last couple things here. There'll be a violations tab, which is going to gather all the violations of everything. So when users have tried to access sites they shouldn't have, things of that nature here, we'll see those listed in here. So we can see here, there's some different sites that these particular users were trying to access that were blocked here. We can see too, if I wanted to go ahead and I can click a view here, dive into that issue more directly here. I can see specifically where it got blocked from. So it was a category block list in this case here. And then I can see that, hey, they didn't input anything in this case because they tried to hit the site and it was blocked there. There's different sections and types of violations. So there's URL violations, of course. There's input violations. So if there's any inappropriate violent language, things like that, things that got picked up by those risk scans that we saw, those would be in here. If there was any searches that they were hitting that they shouldn't be. And then lastly, we have a section here called AI. This is looking for those inputs from things like ChatGPT, things of that nature there. So this is kind of the central gathering point of all the violations, all the issues that may have come through here. There's ways to run reports off this, and of course, you can click in to investigate individual users as well too. So if you go ahead and do that, it'll dive you into the user here directly. Some options here to go ahead and take a look at some different information on that end. It'll give some device information as well too here. So definitely really handy to see what the user's been into. And in fact, we can see here what all the different sites that this user was on during that Google Classroom, or during the classroom when Classroom Manager was up here as well too. So. And last thing here, we also do have a devices section here, and just a couple quick features I'm going to highlight here. You'll see, hey, what's the last known location? When was the device last heard from? And then there's options here to go into some more details. You can mark a device lost or stolen. That will lock the Chrome browser down or the Microsoft Edge browser down. It'll display then a message that, hey, this device has been marked as lost or stolen. And then lastly, we do have this tracking feature, which will track the device. So if it connects to the internet, it'll provide GPS location there. That is going to be for just a 24-hour time period there. So you have to re-enroll the device. And that's another option that's in here as well too. So if there are concerns of, hey, we need this device went missing for whatever reason, okay, let's start tracking it. Let's see where that device ended up. So some options there as well too to help a little bit on the device side of things there. So. That being said, though, that's kind of a quick run through of some things of how the Classroom Manager and the content filter are all integrated there together. So obviously lots of information available, lots of information right at the fingertips there. So, but that being said, we could probably open the floor up to some questions there. I'll go ahead and let David jump back in here.
Well, John and I have been looking at quite a few questions coming in, and I think we've answered, I think, all of them. Let's see what else. I've got another question. Oh, thank you. You're welcome, Rich. Thanks. Of course, one of the first ones right out of the gate, just for everyone, because we know this already. Thank you for the feedback. Google Classroom integration for rostering class imports will be coming soon in the near future. That is going to be added in. We know the .csv import, we knew we'd have to support that, even to make sure we can support one roster API, which will be another feature that we're looking to bring to this very soon. So do not fret. Your requests will be met. We are going to have that integration, and we knew we would. We just needed to be able to get certain things done first and prioritize that because, again, Rome wasn't built in a day. You got to get it taken care of. So yes, please continue to provide your feedback, because this product is being built by you. And what I mean by that is, and you all get it. I mean, we're handing you the whiteboard, the dry erase marker, going up to the whiteboard and say, hey, tell us what you like about your current solution. Tell us what you don't like. We've had a lot of people say, hey, we like our current solution, but we love working with you, ManagedMethods, and we'd love to, consolidate with one vendor. And, these are the things we'd love to see. And part of what we want to make sure we do is, are we going to be the best solution available in the market when we, release? Absolutely not at this moment. We know that coming out of the gates, we know that there's a lot of really good vendors in the space providing student safety filtering and classroom solutions. A lot of well-respected vendors out there. We respect that. We believe, though, that we are going to be able to meet the needs for a lot of folks. And our reputation. We're a solid company with great customer service, great people here. We're going to just continually enhance and make better features. Like when we introduced the filter product this time last year, a lot of you looked at it and said, hey, looks pretty nice, but you're new, you're young, you need to add these things in. Well, we did. And now a lot of those folks that said that are now using the filter product. They started the school year with it and now want the classroom product to come along. So we hear you, we see you, we're listening to you, and we want that feedback, because that is how we make good products for, the good folks like you, is your feedback and your input. So keep bringing that along. Other questions, comments from the floor out there. Let's see. And John, welcome to the show, my friend. I know you were on another call. Feel free if there's anything you want to add in as well. But if there's any questions from anyone out in the audience, a little shout out to my friend Alex. I'm still waiting for that great British fish and chips to show up here in Colorado. Hey, John. Good morning, sir. Brenda, are the leaves still on the trees up there in the mountains? I know here in the Front Range of Colorado, they are starting to turn. So any other questions? Let's see. There's another. Thank you. There. I think we answered that question. Let me look at the list. We had questions about sessions. Those have been answered. Tabs, drop downs. I think we've covered the questions. Closing scenes. And everyone should be able to see the chat with the questions in there. So, okay. I think that's it. I don't think we've covered, or excuse me, I think we've covered all the bases. Any questions from anyone about anything? Long as you got Charles and John here and you're all customers, does anybody have any questions about any product? Cloud Monitor, Filter, Classroom, trivia, quizzes. Next big event you're going to, throw that out in the chat. Share with everyone. What's the next regional show or conference you're going to be at? Because I know I'm going to be out on the road a bunch, and so are these two guys. Is there going to be? Here's a question. Let's see. Is there going to be reporting for principals? Yes, there will be in due time. At the moment, the reporting module is basic, but we are going to be expanding that out, so there will be reporting access available for anyone that you set up. Similar to like Cloud Monitor, you can create roles and give people access. That's all going to be coming into this product as well, so that if you want to have a principal within a school be able to look at classrooms and teachers and get reports out of that. Yes, that's going to be a part of the whole kind of administrative capabilities, not only administration for the tech department, but administration and reporting and analytics for, say, instructional coaches and principals, that kind of thing. Let's see, another Q&A. Are there any way we can try this out to see if the teachers? Yes, absolutely you can. So that's a great segue. Thank you for that. So the question that came out was, is this available that we can have it try out? Yes. So contact your customer success representative, Kayla or Marcy, or your regional account executive. Or if you can't remember any of the above, just send an email to support@managedmethods.com and ask, hey, I want to see Classroom. So what we are doing right now is for customers, we are offering up early access preview to the platform. We have not generally, this has not been made generally available to the public yet. We have folks that are taking a look at it, but for customers, you can get early access to that. And we're going to be starting those early access previews very, very soon. So right now, for the individual that just asked the question, yes. And that goes to anyone out here, anyone on this call. If you would like to arrange for either a private demonstration and Q&A session, if you want to have a preview session with instructional technology leaders, teachers, etc., send an email to support@managedmethods.com or contact your customer success representative or your regional account executive. So, of course, Kayla and Marcy are the extraordinary duo for customer success. And then depending on where you are in the country, Joe out in California, Jack, Pacific Northwest, Tom down there in Texas, myself here in Colorado, got Morgan out there in the Midwest. We got John out east, Mike down southeast. So we've got the crew out there to help and support you. And, if you get an email to support@managedmethods.com, that will go to all of us, and we'll be sure to reach out and help you. All right. Anyone else? Well, we're doing this for you folks. We hope you benefited from today's session. Again, we may not meet everybody's needs and requirements immediately right out of the gate, but in due time, we will get the support for all the features and functionality. Again, you know us, you know our reputation. The brand Managed Methods stands for great products backed by great people with great customer service, and we are going to bring this and the filter product to a point where we feel like we'll be able to meet the needs of everyone out there in due time. But for starters, we want your feedback. So if you have any questions, comments, let us know. Yeah, one of you's already texted me a question. Didn't want to put it in the chat. Yes, there will be special price bundles available for existing customers. I'm surprised this person. I know you. I'm surprised it took you that long to ask. Yes, like anything, we will offer up. The more you buy, the more you save, kind of thing. Absolutely, bundling, and the roadmap is calling for integration across all Managed Methods platforms in due time. But right now, yes, for anybody that's an existing Cloud Monitor customer and you want to add in Filter, there's a bundle discount. If you want to add in Filter in Classroom, yes, there will be special bundle. And there's going to be special pricing just for customers because, well, that's the right way to do it. You guys have been loyal to the Managed Methods brand, and we want to, help you get into this. And of course, it benefits us as well, too. Anything else? With that said, we're already at 42 minutes past the hour. We like to give you, we had allocated this to be an hour, but we'll give you 15 minutes back in your day. So if there's no other questions or comments, going once, going twice, I want to thank first and foremost all of you of our customers for your support and your partnership with Managed Methods. And we love you and thank you so much. And of course, Charles, John, as always, you guys are my rock stars. Thank you so much. And to the Managed Methods team out there, keep on keeping on. Have a great day, folks. We look forward to talking to you soon.
Thanks, everyone.